The points P and Q have coordinates P is equal to minus 10,5 and Q is equal to 20,15. The first part of the question says to find the gradient of the line joining P and Q. So we need to establish what is the gradient of a line, how to find the gradient of a line. So let's look up the formula for the gradient of a line. So the gradient of a line is given by M is equal to the ratio of y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. So it's the rate of change of y divided by the change of y divided by the change of x. Okay, so we must establish what is y2 and y1, what is x2 and x1. So we have to use the points P and Q to do that. So we can use point P to establish what is x1 and y1. So x1 will be negative 10 and y1 will be 5. And point Q, we can use point Q for x2 and y2. So 20 will be x2 and y2 will be 15. So we can substitute these values into the formula for gradient. So here we see y2, we have to put 15 because we use 15 as y2. And where we see y1, we have to use 5. We use 5 for y1. So we substitute 5 into the place of y1. Then we substitute 20 into the place of x2. And we substitute negative 10 into the place of x1. So now gradient, which is given by the letter M, will be 15 subtract 5, which is 10, divided by 20 subtract a negative 10, that will be 20 plus 10, that will be 30. So the gradient is equal to 10 over 30, which simplifies to a third. So the gradient of line PQ is 1 over 3. Part 2 says to write down the gradient of the line perpendicular to PQ. So we have to use the relationship between the gradients of perpendicular lines. And the relationship says that the gradient of a line perpendicular to each other is -1 over the other one. Okay, so let's write this relationship down. So symbolically, here's the relationship between the gradients of perpendicular lines. The gradient of the line perpendicular, or the perpendicular gradient, is equal to -1 over the other gradient. Okay, so therefore the gradient of the line perpendicular to PQ will be -1 over a third. And -1 over a third will be equal to -3. So the gradient of the line perpendicular to PQ is -3. Part 3 says, hence find the equation of the line perpendicular to PQ passing through point P. Now to find the equation of a line, we need, first and foremost, we need to use that formula y is equal to mx plus c. We need a gradient. So we know the gradient of the line perpendicular to PQ is -3. And we also need a point. The point we are going to use is P, because the question says, the information says that the perpendicular line we're talking about passes through point P. So we have to use point P, which is -10, 2, 5. 5. 5 . 5 . 5 . 5 . 5 . 5 . 5 . 5 . 5 . 5 . 5 . 5 . 5 . 5 . 5 . 5 . 5 . 5 . 5 . 5 . 5 . 5 . 5 . 5 . 5 . 5 . 5 . 5 . 5 . 5 . 5 . 5 . 5 . 5 . 5 . 5 . 5 . 5 . 5 . 5 . 5 . 5 . 5 . 5 . 5 . 5 . 5 . 5 . 5 . 5 . 5 . 5 . 5 . 5 . 5 . 5 . 5 . 5 . 5 . 5 . 5 . 5 . 5 . 5 . 5 . 5 . 5 . 5 . 5 . 5 . 5 . 5 . 5 . 5 . 5 . 5 . 5 . 5 . 5 . 5 . 5 . 5 . 5 . 5 . 5 . 5 . 5 . 5 . 5 . 5 . 5 . 5 . 5 . 5 . 5 And negative 10 comma 5 means that the x is negative 10 and the y is 5. Then we can substitute these values into the formula y is equal to mx plus c. So we can use that to find c because we have m already. And we have x and we have y. Y is 5, so we substitute 5 in the place of y. We have m. M is negative 3. We have x. X is negative 10. So then we can solve for c. Negative 3 times negative 10, that's 30. A negative times a negative is a positive. And to solve for c, we can cancel out 30 from the right side by subtracting 30. If we subtract 30 on the right, we have to subtract 30 on the left. So 5 minus 30, that will give us negative 25. So c is negative 25. So now we can complete the equation. Y is equal to mx plus c. Y is equal to negative 3x subtract 25. So that is the equation of the line perpendicular to PQ. Y is equal to negative 3x subtract 25. So we have found the gradient of PQ, which is a third. Next, we found the gradient of the line perpendicular to PQ, which is negative 3. Then we found the equation of the line perpendicular to PQ passing through the point P, which is negative 3x subtract 25.